Yo, 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 it is Beth Eversole, the allergy actress, and I am here today to make ooey gooey, yummy veggie pizza! Okay guys, so the ingredients for pizza, you all know, it's crust, sauce, cheese, toppings, right? Well, we have some modified crust, sauce, cheese toppings today because of our allergies. So let me start with the sauce. This is my homemade tomato basil sauce. It's already made up, but I'll tell you what goes into it. It's like 128-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes and chiffonaded basil, like 5 or 6 leaves of basil, thinly sliced. And then you get a little bit of, you get a little bit of garlic granules in there, a little bit of Himalayan pink salt, and then, well, I think that's about it. Yeah, so basil and then, oh, olive oil. There we go, that's what I remembered. So you mix all of those in there with your hands. Then you use an immersion blender, and then you have to let it sit for 1 hour. It can be in the fridge or just sitting out while you're making your other stuff to use as the sauce. If you don't want to make your own sauce, that's totally fine. You can find plenty of good sauces at the store that are allergy friendly. So try to find organic because that's usually tending more towards allergy friendly. So that's the sauce. Also, what goes on the crust is this fantastic vegan butter mixed with garlic granules. We put that on at the end, right on the edge of the crust. It's so yummy. Okay, so then speaking of the crust, so we have to activate the yeast. So the yeast you get water and you put the yeast with it, and then you put in some sugar and then let it activate. So with the water and the yeast, you want 1 1/4 cups of water, but it's divided. 1/2 cup of water and then 3/4 cup of water. And then the sugar is also divided. This is 3 tablespoons of white sugar, 1 tablespoon, and then 2 tablespoons. Divided means you're going to use one amount for one and then another amount for another. There you go. And it's just white cane sugar, straight up. There you go. The activated dry yeast, don't get the rapid rise yeast, get activated dry yeast. You will use 1 packet. You'll find that with yeast it comes in like 3 little packets connected to each other. Just use 1 of those packets. It's equivalent to just over a tablespoon, basically. Just about a tablespoon of the yeast. And then you have a tablespoon of the olive oil. And that is what kind of goes into the yeast making process. And then for the crust, we have 1 cup of brown rice flour, 1 cup of white rice flour. Can you tell which one I like better? 1 cup of tapioca starch / flour. It is called both. And then you have a tablespoon of basil and a tablespoon of oregano. Those are my favorite herbs to put in crust, so that's what I do. And then we're doing a tablespoon of garlic granules because I like garlic crust. And then we have our baking powder. This is 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Make sure that it is corn-free if you have a corn allergy. And then we also, of course, when you're making gluten-free crust, you have to have some kind of gum. So guar gum is what I'm using, made from beans. Xanthan gum is derived from corn, so I usually try to stay away from that one. So guar gum, you're gonna have 3/4 of a teaspoon of guar gum. That is your crust. Then you have the toppings. So today we are going to be using vegan cashew mozzarella cheese, 8 to 10 ounces of that depending on your preference. And then I like my toppings like this, sliced mushrooms, just about 1/2 cup. And then sliced peppers, any bell pepper you like, or you could go spicier if you want. I'm not a huge spicy pepper fan, so I'm doing 1/2 cup of a sliced bell pepper, and then 1/2 cup of the yellow onion diced. You can pick whatever onion you want. A lot of people like red onion on their pizza, so I mean, go to town, folks. Here we go. It's time to make the pizza. Okay guys, so the crust is the hardest part, but I guarantee you it is so worth it. So if you can hang in there with me, we're gonna have the best pizza ever! Okay, so first thing you have to do is activate your yeast. You are going to take, remember that 1 1/4 cups of lukewarm water that we had? You're going to take 3/4 of a cup and put it in a little thing like this, and then make sure it's at about 110 degrees. If you go above 110 degrees, you're going to kill the yeast, and we don't want that to happen. So, and then you take your yeast and you pour all of it in to activate it, and I'm going to get a little spoon so that we can make sure it's not in a clump like that. And then it's going to activate for just a bit. Oops, sorry. Get off of the thing. It's very sticky. There we go. Oh my goodness. That's what happens when you put water with yeast. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to wait 2 minutes. And then we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of sugar. And then you're going to wait another 3 minutes. And then it'll be activated and you can put it into the rest of your crust. So I'm going to set that aside while I put the flours together. Okay, so remember all those cups of flours that we had? Yes, we're going to just put them all in there. Dump them in. The tapioca starch, be careful. It fluffs up if you dump it, so just be real careful because it's very fluffy, is what I like to say. It's very fluffy. So, get all of that out there. Now, remember, baking is quite a science, so you want to make sure that you get your measurements pretty right on. So there was a cup of brown rice, a cup of white rice, and a cup of tapioca starch / flour. Now we have our baking powder. This is ½ a teaspoon. That goes in. I use the corn-free version because I can't have the other version. And then this is 3/4 of a teaspoon of guar gum. You have to have this in order for it to not crumble all over your face. So, you want crumbly pizza crust? By all means, go ahead for it. All right. So then I like to put garlic in everything, so I'm putting garlic in. And then these are the herbs that I like. So we have basil, and we have oregano. And then we just stir it together. And by the time we're done stirring this together, it should be about time to get that 1 tablespoon into your sugar of yeast. Your sugar of yeast. Your yeast. And I cracked myself up, y'all. I cracked myself up. Okay. So there we go. Yummy. All right. So we're going to take a tablespoon and dump it into the yeast. And stir that just a little bit. There we go. Oh good, it's starting to activate now. It was very sticky for a second, but now it's starting to activate. I'll move it closer so you can see what it looks like. Okay, the rest of the sugar comes in a little bit later. And you also want to make sure that you have another ½ a cup of that lukewarm water. And we're going to add all of that once this has activated. We've got 3 more minutes to work on that, so we'll come back and show you what we do next. Hi guys! Okay, so part 2 of putting the crust together. So before you put the liquid ingredients in, you want to make sure you mix the rest of your sugar. So 2 tablespoons of sugar into your dry, and then whisk it. Whiskey, whiskey, whiskey. See my green? I'm matching, you guys. Okay. I'm such a goon. Okay. And then whisk, 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 whisk until it's well whisked together. And then what you want to do is make a little well in the center of your dry ingredients. I'm going to make it bigger because there's a lot of yeast to go in there. Right there. I'm also going to grab my wooden spoon because that's best to make pizza crust. And you're going to pour in your yeast that is now activated into the well. Aww. Okay, and then you're going to add, well, let's do the oil first actually. So you're going to put that tablespoon of olive oil that we had from our ingredients. And then you're going to add another ½ a cup of water. And then you stir until it becomes a lovely sticky dough. And it takes just a few seconds. Now here's the deal. if you find that your dough is too wet, say like today is a very humid day for us, so if you find your dough is too wet, you can always add more flour, but make sure you stir for a little while until you really get things mixed, because sometimes it seems like it's too wet and then it's actually just not stirred well enough. So you want to, okay, and you want to stir a little bit more. And I feel like this is a little bit wet, which doesn't surprise me because it is extremely humid today. So I'm going to grab some of that brown rice flour that we had set aside, and I'm going to put just a little bit more in there. Now again, this brown rice flour will also be used to help you put the dough onto your pizza pie holder. So if you have a pizza stone, great. I just got one, you guys, I'm so excited. Or you can have just a pizza tray, or even just a baking sheet, you know. Just make sure that you put parchment paper down underneath the dough, and then use your fingers and the brown rice flour, and you just do that, okay? So this is the dough, and we're gonna go put it on the pizza stone. Okay guys, so here is your crust. And here is my pizza stone, my brand new pizza stone. Woohoo! Okay, so I've put 2 pieces of parchment paper down because this is a very large pizza stone. And now we're just gonna dump it out, plop it out onto the pizza stone. And then you definitely are gonna want that brown rice flour nearby because you get to press it down into the crust. You can do any shape you want. I'm gonna try to do circular. May not look perfect, but you know, we'll go. So brown rice flour, you can be pretty, you know, like you can use a lot. You need to. It's very fluffy dough, so you don't have to press too hard to get it to move quickly. Okay. But you do want to make sure that it gets pretty thin. If you do it thick, I have done it thick before, but it gets kind of bready. And you know, bready pizza crust, it's fine, but it's not like, So you want to make sure that you thin it out pretty well. So I'm just going to spread a little bit more flour. So then the next thing after this, once you've gotten it to your desired thickness and everything, the next thing that you need to do after this is put it in the oven. So the oven's going to be at 350 degrees. You want to par bake this, which means to pre-bake it basically, for between 20 and 25 minutes. I usually do 20, but it depends on your oven. So I've got a gas oven, so it goes pretty fast, and that's what happens. So this is getting there, almost getting there. So after you pre-bake it for 20 to 25 minutes, you will pull it back out of the oven, and then we'll put all of our toppings on, and then we'll put it back in the oven for another 20 minutes until the cheese is bubbly and everything tastes wonderful. So I'll come back when we're putting the toppings on just so you can see how fun it is, and then we'll see you on the flip side in about 20 minutes. You guys, it's time for the toppings and the sauce, and it's so yummy. Okay, so this is, you're not going to put all of this sauce on this pizza. I would get a scooper and do this, and then spread it out like they do, like when you see pizza guys do it. Yeah, do it like that. You can have too much sauce, in my opinion. So some people would say no, but I kind of feel like you can. But I do like to go as close to the edge as I can with the sauce. I think that's a good amount. So we will do that. And then, now it's time for this cheese. This cheese it shredded, but then it ended up in my kitchen. So it now is goopy, as mozzarella would be. So awesome mozzarella, people. So now I'm just gonna kind of squish it on there because it's also very humid here and it seems to have melted a little bit. So we just started the melting process early, y'all, that's all. But this, this cheese actually does melt quite well, which is really cool. Very much like mozzarella does, so I'm super excited about it. I've had this cheese many, many times, and you can see in our recipe what company I use, because it's a specific company that I like to use. I'm going to use this spoon. Monster hands! I'm going to use this spoon to kind of flatten the cheese out a little bit just because I don't want it to all just be in one goopy spot. But this is kind of how they make pizzas in Italy. They drop the cheese instead of making it shredded. So we're making an Italian pizza today, y'all. And then we'll fill in the gaps with all of our yummy toppings. So I like to do onions first, so I'm going to go for that. Now, I said half a cup. You don't have to use all the onions. You can use a few of them. You can use all of them. I tend to be a fan of onions, so I'm going to put quite a few. And then we have our mushrooms, which I like to place so that they look pretty. And that's what we're doing right now. And then we've got the bell peppers. And then you're going to put it back in the oven for another just about 20 minutes. You can use all the mushrooms. And then once you pull it out of the oven, after that, that's when you put the garlic butter on. And you only put it around the edge of the crust so that it's piping hot and bubbly and it melts and goes into the yumminess of the crust. And it's so exciting. Oh, I can't wait. I like bell peppers too, so I'm going to put quite a few of these. Again, you don't have to use all of the peppers that you sliced up. Use the peppers for something else. And that's that. So we're going to get this back in the oven, and then when we pull it out at the end, we're going to put the garlic butter on it, and then we get to taste it. And we've come to the best part, the taste test. Here we go. I took a really big bite, you guys. So, just look at how pretty that is. Hello. So good. Then I choked on what I bit into. But, so good. Oh my gosh, that cheese and the crust. I like the crust. Anyway, that's your cheesy, ooey gooey, yummy veggie pizza, you guys. This is Beth Eversole, the allergy actress, signing off for now.